In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the filter project using Pixlr. This is an example of what the filter project will look like when you're finished with it. So over here, the first image is your original, and then all of these copies have a different filter applied to it. The first thing that you need to do is go to the internet and find an appropriate image. The best type of image to use has a single bold subject that's very clear. Once you find your image, go to File, Open, and open it from your Google Drive. I'm going to choose this one called Pink Rose. So it's very important that over here in the Layers panel, you change this from a background into a layer. You can see right now it has a padlock on it. So simply double-click the padlock, and now it's unlocked and it's been titled Layer 0. The next thing that we need to do is add some space around this so that we have room to put our copies. To do that, go to Image, Canvas Size. So the width is 720 and we need 4 rows across, so I'm going to take the calculator and put 720 and multiply it by 4, which is 2880. So I will put that number in here, and then I have to do the same thing with 504. 504 multiplied by 4 equals 2016. So obviously everyone will have different numbers here. Just use the calculator and do the math. I'm going to leave the anchor point up here in the corner and click OK. Now I can't see that anything has changed, but if you look over here in the navigator box, you do see that there's a blank space added around the edges of my image. So if I use this slider here, I can shrink that down until it fits my screen. Now what I'm going to do is make copies of this to fill up this whole space. So to do that, I'm going to drag the Layers panel over here and make it longer so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take Layer 0, click it, hold it, and drag it, and take it down to this new layer button. Now I have a copy. I simply have to use the Move tool to move this copy over to the side, and to get it just where I want it, I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard. So to keep these in order, you should always use the top layer. So I'll click and drag the top layer to the copy button, and then use the Move tool to drag that over, and then use the arrow keys to line it up. So again, go always to the top layer, drag it to the new layer button, move it over, and you basically repeat this process until you fill up the whole document. I've already done that right here. So now I'm going to show you the next steps. So starting with Layer 0, you can click this little check mark right here to make sure that you actually have the right layer selected. So the one that disappears is the one that you have selected. So Layer 0, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to call it Original, O-R-I-G-I-N-A-L. And then I'm going to go to the next layer. I'll click this to make sure I'm on the right one. Then I will start adding filters. So the filters are on this menu right here. And there are all sorts of different filters. Some filters, when you use them, there's really no obvious change. So if that happens, for example with blur, you can see that it didn't really change much. So I'm just going to undo that. So Edit, Undo, and I'll try a different one. So Filter, this time let's try Box Blur and see what happens. So now I have this slider, and I can move this around to get different effects. So it almost looks like it's kind of pixelating it, and I kind of like that right there. So I will click OK and double click this and write Box Blur. Then I will go to the next one, confirm that it is the correct layer by toggling the check mark, and just continuing to go ahead and play around with all of these different filters and try them out and see what they do. So once you find one that you like and you make the adjustments that you like, go ahead and click OK, and don't forget to name the layer. So this one was halftone. Now it's really important that if you don't finish this in one period, that you save it as the correct file type. The file type that will let you keep layers, so let's go to File, Save, is not JPEG. JPEG will make all this go away and turn into only one layer, which is not what you want unless you're completely finished. So let's open this up, and you need to change it to this PXD, which is layered pixel image, and save it that way. If you finish it in one period, then go ahead and save it as a JPEG. But if you need to work on it more than one day, be extra careful that you save it as a PXD, otherwise you will have to start all over again. So once you're finished with this, make sure that you place it into your tech portfolio so that you get credit for it. That's it for this video.